You know, when you put in 40 plus years in the game and you've sacrificed so much of your joy, your childhood.
So what you see is what you get, and you ain't seen nothing yet, so get it.
Doing all of this to grind to get to the top.
Gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up.
And they never, ever give us our props. Y'all need to stop that. Well, D'Angelo and I got connected by way of Jocelyn Cooper, who was signing us both as songwriters. When D'Angelo came into the studio. But I have you to know that, and I'm gonna have everybody know because I want to set the record straight, he pursued me. I did not pursue him. And she thought it was almost virtually possible for me to just take her and put her in the spotlight. But I told her, you have to work for it. So the clash of the titans began.
What really happened to Angie Stone will change how you feel about R&B. Y'all, let me tell you right now, this story right here ain't for the faint of heart. Angie Stone's journey through the R&B industry is one that'll leave you straight up shook. We're talking about a woman who survived it all. The highs, the lows, and everything messy in between. The police reports, health struggles, industry shadiness, and a love life so scandalous it sounds like a movie script. And trust me, after hearing all this, you'll never listen to her hits the same way again.
You know, when you put in 40 plus years in the game and you've sacrificed so much of your joy, your childhood years with your children, and, you know, doing all of this to grind to get to the top.
So sit back, grab a drink, and let's talk about what really happened to the legendary Angie Stone. You ain't ready for this one, I'm telling you now. Before she became the soulful powerhouse we all know and love, Angie Stone was just a girl named Angela Laverne Brown, born on December 18, 1961 in Columbia, South Carolina. Her roots run deep in music. Her daddy, a cab driver by day, used to belt out tunes at the Masonic Temple, and her mama worked as a nurse. But Angie wasn't just raised around music. She was the music. She grew up in church choirs, letting her voice grow strong, bold, and oh so soulful. But did you know Angie didn't start her career with R&B? Nope. Angie Stone entered the game as a rap queen.
So what you see is what you get, and you ain't seen nothing yet, so get it.
In the late 1970s, when hip-hop was still a baby, Angie was out here making moves with her group The Sequence. They were one of the very first all-female rap groups, and let me tell you, they kicked in doors for women in hip-hop before it was even cool to do so.
We have lived and loved everything about the Bronx, everything about hip-hop and the culture of hip-hop. But we have forgotten the one element that opened the doors for females everywhere. My group, The Sequence, Angie B, Blondie, and Cheryl the Pearl. We were trailblazers. Back in '79, when everybody was in the parks, we was on the road with the Gap Band, Confunction, Parliament Funkadelic. We were out there because there were no hip-hoppers on the road, but we had a song called Funk You Up.
Angie, Cheryl the Pearl Cook, and Gwendolyn Blondie Chisholm were high school friends who turned into legends. Their hit Funk You Up in 1979 wasn't just catchy. It was iconic. That track was one of the first hip-hop songs to ever hit vinyl. Yup, The Sequence was out here making history while most rappers were still figuring out how to hold a mic.
Gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up. We're gonna funk you right on up.
And don't get it twisted. Their influence is still alive. That beat, that vibe, it's been sampled in everything from Dr. Dre's Keep Their Heads Ringin' to Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk.
Dr. Dre did it called Keep Your Heads Ringing. Erica did it with Love of My Life. Bruno Mars did it with Uptown Funk. Well, that is the derivative of the song we wrote, which is the first original rap record by a female group.
The ladies laid the foundation for what hip-hop could be. But despite the success, the group didn't get the respect or the credit they deserved. Like so many pioneers, their legacy was overlooked. But Angie didn't stop.
And they never, ever give us our props. Y'all need to stop that.
After her run with The Sequence, Angie knew she had to reinvent herself. She took her love for music and shifted into R&B, setting the stage for one of the most unique and powerful voices in the genre. In 1999, Angie dropped her debut solo album, Black Diamond, under Arista Records, and Baby. It was a moment. The album went gold and blessed us with the classic single No More Rain in This Cloud. That song right there, timeless. Her voice, pure magic. Angie wasn't just singing, she was preaching. Every word hit your soul like a gut punch, and people were finally starting to see what she was made of. But that was just the beginning. In 2001, Angie dropped her second album, Mahogany Soul, and gave us one of the most heart-wrenching breakup anthems ever written. Wish I Didn't Miss You. If you've ever been through a breakup so bad it made you question your whole life, you know this song. That sample of Backstabbers by the OJs mixed with Angie's raw vocals, unmatched. That album solidified her as one of the most authentic voices in R&B, and it was clear Angie wasn't here to play. Now let's pause here for a second, because while Angie's career was shining behind the scenes, she was fighting battles most people had no idea about. First up, the industry's obsession with image. Let's keep it real. Angie has never been the cookie-cutter image of what record labels want their artists to look like. She wasn't thin, she wasn't light-skinned, and because of that, she faced years of brutal fat-shaming and colorism. Can you imagine having one of the most powerful voices in music, yet constantly being judged for how you look? It's wild, but that's exactly what Angie went through. At one point, her own label wouldn't let her perform on the Oprah Winfrey Show because they thought she was too big. Too big, y'all. This wasn't just hurtful, it was career damaging. Angie later admitted in interviews that the comments about her weight broke her heart, but she never let it stop her. And here's the kicker. What people didn't know was that Angie was battling type 2 diabetes the entire time. Diagnosed in 1999, she was put on steroids that caused her to gain a lot of weight. It wasn't because she was lazy or unhealthy or any of the nonsense people were saying. Angie was dealing with a chronic illness, but instead of sympathy, she got mocked. It's a miracle she didn't let it break her spirit, because Lord knows it would have broken most. And just when you think things couldn't get messier, let's talk about Angie's personal life. Y'all remember that steamy romance with R&B heartthrob D'Angelo, right? Wow, child. That relationship had everybody talking.
Well, D'Angelo and I got connected by way of Jocelyn Cooper, who was signing us both as songwriters. When I was in the studio with Vertical Hole at the time, when D'Angelo came into the studio. But I have you to know that, and I'm going to have everybody know because I want to set the record straight, he pursued me. I did not pursue him. I thought he was older than what he was because he had an old soul. And anybody that's hanging around him long enough will attest to that is the truth. I mean, we just hit it off musically because we were both from the South. And I think it was something familiar about our energy that clicked. And once we became friends, he decided, I'm going to stay in New York. At one point, he was going to move back to Virginia. But he says, I'm going to stay in New York, you know what I mean? Because now I got somebody around who I can relate to. And it just happened to be me. At the time, we were just the best of friends.
Angie and D'Angelo met in the early 90s, back when he was just a 19-year-old kid with big dreams. Angie, who was 12 years older, took him under her wing and helped him find his sound. She co-wrote some of his biggest tracks, including Jones in My Bones and Cruisin', and she was instrumental in shaping the smooth, soulful vibe of his debut album Brown Sugar. Their chemistry was undeniable, but it came with a whole lot of drama. People criticized Angie for being older, for being bigger, and for not fitting the image they had for D'Angelo's girlfriend. But Angie wasn't fazed. She loved him deeply, and together they had a son, Michael Archer Jr. Unfortunately, their relationship fell apart not long after. The pressures of fame, jealousy, and D'Angelo's rising success took its toll. Angie later admitted that their breakup was full of heartbreak, betrayal, and unresolved tension. And let's just say the world never let her forget about it. And then came 2015, the year Angie Stone made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Angie was arrested for allegedly knocking out her daughter Diamond's teeth during a heated argument.
And she thought it was almost virtually possible for me to just take her and put her in the spotlight. But I told her, you have to work for it. I will always be there to help you, just like I will help my son. But you ultimately got to do the work. And I just think that was hard for her. She thought that, I can put her on. And it wasn't that simple. So the clash of the titans began.
Now, let's set the record straight. Angie denies that she knocked out her daughter's teeth, but the details of the fight are messy. According to reports, Angie confronted Diamond about her messy room and the way she was raising her kids. And things got physical. Angie says Diamond hit her first and all she did was defend herself, but either way, it was a family fight gone way too far. Angie later spoke out about the incident, saying she wasn't proud of what happened, but she was still a mother first. "You're not going to fight me in my house," she said. And honestly, a lot of moms out there probably feel the same way. Through it all, the fat shaming, the health struggles, the personal drama, Angie Stone never gave up. She kept pushing forward, dropping music that spoke to people's souls. In 2023, at 62 years old, Angie is still doing her thing. She's dropped 10 albums, earned a Grammy nomination, and built a net worth of $3 million. She's proof that no matter how much life tries to break you, you can always come out stronger on the other side. And let's not forget, Angie still has fans out here who love her. When rumors started flying that she had passed away, Angie clapped back in the best way possible, by looking better than ever and reminding folks that she's very much alive. So what can we learn from Angie Stone's story? That talent will always outlast the noise. That strength isn't just about what you can do, but about how you survive. Angie Stone is a living legend, a pioneer, a survivor, and a voice that will never be silenced. So next time you hear "No More Rain" or "Wish I Didn't Miss You," remember this: Angie Stone didn't just sing those songs, she lived them. And that's why she'll always be one of the greatest to ever do it. Now hit that sub button and stay updated with your favorite celebrity news on R&B Daily.